and gentlemen, welcome to Belize City. And Belize City was established back in 1638 by British buccaneers and privateers who had run their ship aground on a beautiful barrier reef. Later on, they needed to repair it urgently, so they came out to mainland Belize. They cut a few mahogany trees and then they repaired their boats, and they continued chasing after the Spanish galleons, capturing them and taking away the gold and the silver that they were taking away from the Americas to Europe. Now, this part of Belize City is known as the Fort George area. At one time, this was the Fort George Island, a little island off the coast of Belize, and it was joined on to mainland Belize in the early 1900s. Now, if you look to your left-hand side, today we have a street which is known as Eyre Street, and to your right-hand side, the blue-gray wall. This would have been part of the coast of Belize City, and all in front of us was all reclaimed from the sea. It's filled in from the sea. So it was later on subdivided and given to some of the prominent families in Belize town. And the buildings in this area were built in around the 1920s to about the 1940s. And at that time, we had abundant lumber. And guess what? They used mahogany, one of the most expensive lumber in the country today. And they built these houses out of mahogany. Later on through the years, they remodified them and they used concrete, brick that was brought in from England to Belize. But most of the wooden buildings, some of them are still standing, like the one on the left. Also, we have a few that dates back to 1925, 1927, 1930s, around that time frame. This part that we're traveling, I think you walked here through this morning. This is what at once, it was the custom department. Once you came to the country, came through by sea or by boat, you will then be welcomed into the city. You check in with the immigration department. After that, if you brought in any goodies, you pay income, being taxed for it, and then you were free to come into the country and bring in the little goodies into the country as well. Now to your left hand side, we have the Radisson Fort George Hotel. You can see the American flag and the British flag there, the English flag. The building here, the Harbour View. Today it's Martha's Cafe and a nice little area. But this was where we had the immigration department. They will come in, get your passport stamped, get it ready, all in order. Then you were allowed to go into the city. Now, so this was the view. Everyone that came to Belize, they would see this. This was being the main harbor of the country at one time, because it was all traveling by sea or by rivers going to the different parts of the country. So this was what you got to see when you came to Belize. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a sign marked Belize. If you guys want to come out and take some pictures, or you want to just get a picture of the sign Belize, it's up to you. What will it be?
Yeah, let's
step out and get a picture?
Yeah, let's take a picture.
Well, let me just park properly. Let me just get a little parking space here, give brake to this vehicle behind me. I can park properly, and then we can do some picture taking. So you have a reminder that you were in Belize. Here we go.
Mom, you have to get out.
Yeah, we're gonna take a picture.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Let me.
I'm so happy for you, Autumn. You could get it all in. No, come on. Go back. All right. Y'all ready? It's just recording, yes. Oh.
Just leave it. She takes screenshots from her card.
Yeah, everybody smile.
Another pose.
Can I show you guys my souvenirs real quick?
Sure.
look, boys, see my bracelets? I have rain sticks. I have more, like he has.
Just look at it.
Let me your hand, girls. These are bamboo and I make it. Let me your
Can I
hand.
get one?
Let's see.
So these are 5. You pay 10, you get 1 free. Yes, I have more. I have more rain sticks like they have. These are all crystal. Which color do you like?
I like this.
The pink one.
Oh, you want this one?
Okay, you want one? You want one, Trey? A bracelet. Alright.
You pay
want
for
this
2,
one?
you get 1 free.
You want this one? Just get what they want.
Alright.
That's 35.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, honey.
Hey.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this short stop. Also, we have a historical site. If you look at your right hand side, you will see the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is a memorial tomb dedicated to Henry Edward Victor Bliss,
He does it for donation.
one of Belize's greatest benefactor. During his time here in Belize, he came on the 1st of January 1926. When he came this way, he was terminally ill. So he knew he was on his last days. Later on, he passed away on the 9th of March 1926, leaving all of his wealth to the people of British Honduras. Now, ladies and gentlemen, prior to the country being Belize, it was British Honduras, once a British colony, which was established back in 1862. Now, if you notice to your left, you have some beautiful colonial buildings, like this one is owned by the Bowen family, but they converted the family home into what is today the Cork Street Restaurant. It's a 5-star restaurant. Also too, we have these beautiful features like the one on the left, which is the Fort George Tower, or the Fort George Hotel, which was originally built back in 1953. Now across the street, on the right hand side, we have the marina, where boats will come in and get fuel, water, equipment like snorkeling, scuba diving equipment and all that. Then they go out to sea to do snorkeling or scuba diving. Sometimes they go out for a whole week, so they take food, they have everything with them, so they can spend a whole week out there in the different going island hopping. Now in Belize, we have approximately 450 islands along the coast of Belize. Now if you look to your left, it's a beautiful view of the colonial city. You can see some of the colonial buildings which have been showcased in movies. One of them, the latest one, was back in the 1980s, called The Dogs of War, starring Christopher Walken. That film was filmed here in Belize, or the movie was filmed in Belize, and they showcase a whole lot part of the city and the country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have this last checkpoint. Let me check in and then we continue our tour through the city. City and beach. Good? Alright. Okay, also to your left hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Taiwanese embassy. The Taiwanese embassy, if you notice, it looks brand new, but it's an old building built back in the 1920s, 1927 thereabout. But recently, last year, we had Hurricane Lisa, last year November. So they had to rebuild the roof, which was blown away by the hurricane, and also they gave it a fresh coat of paint. Next door, we have this colonial building which belongs to Robert Sidney Turton. He's the first millionaire in the country of Belize, but he had the belief that if he painted his windows yellow, it will prevent mosquitoes from coming into the house. Unfortunately, the gentleman died from malaria, so his idea didn't work, right? But he was a very good businessman. Also too, ladies and gentlemen, there are some odd things in the country that has happened. If you look at this building on the corner, the owner of that building, when she passed away, in her will, she said that her body must be embalmed and must be showed, must be kept in one of the rooms in the ground floor. So there is the embalmed body of the owner of that building. Also too, the family live on the second floor. Now to your left hand side we have this historical building which is built back in 1868. It's the Sisters of Mercy Convent. If you look to your left hand side, it looks like a castle with two crosses on top of it. The Sisters of Mercy originally came from Louisiana in 1868, and in 1869 they opened the first school in British Honduras. Today they manage the St. Catherine's Academy. It's an all-girls high school that has a population of about 550 girls going to that high school. All girls, no boys. Now beside it we have this building. If you look at it, it looks like a Maya temple. Look at the slanted wall on the south end, the north end, and the trimming on the wall looks like hieroglyphic writing on the Maya temple. Now this is the offices of the Central Bank of Belize. They are the ones that would advise the government about their finances. Also, they're the ones that would monitor the exchange rate of the Belize dollar with the monies in the world. For example, the exchange rate between the Belize dollar and the US dollar, it's pegged at 2 Belize dollars to 1 US dollar. So today, if you're doing any business, any transactions, money-wise in the country, remember that exchange rate, 2 Belize dollars to 1 US dollar. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Bay Boulevard is built in 2004. It costs us approximately $16 million, and it's built on land that's been reclaimed from the sea. Now, also too, we have the Maya roundabout up ahead. It's built for the 30th anniversary of the independence of the country of Belize. Belize got its independence from England on the 21st September 1981. Now also too, we're leaving the colonial city coming on to modern Belize. To your left hand side we have the Golden Bay Company. Also we have the Vino Tinto restaurant and hotel up at the roof. And if you look to your right hand side, we have the open air fish market. You can see the fishermen, they're calling. Probably might want to buy a fish or something, but it's the fishermen will go out early in the morning to go fishing, and then later on they return and they sell the produce to the local people. So if you see there, fresh fish just came in from the sea, right? Also too, ladies and gentlemen, we're leaving the colonial city. We're coming on to modern Belize. This is where we have the skyscrapers, like these ones up ahead. Now we have some older buildings. This one is about 200-year-old building. Hurricane Lisa lifted it up from its foundation and set it right next to the concrete wall. You can see there's nobody living there at the moment. It's not secure to live there. So the government gave an apartment to the family that used to live there. Give them an apartment, and while at the moment too the government is getting money, which they will give a soft loan to the owners of the building, so that they can rebuild the old colonial building. All they have to do is keep the architecture. Also too, ladies and gentlemen, we have other buildings that haven't been repaired as yet. If you look to your left hand side, this blue wall is the Mexican Consulate and the Mexican Cultural Institute. Now the roof is damaged, so they're waiting we have like 2 contractors already came to give their proposal on how much it will cost for the rebuilding or repairs of that roof. But since last year, November, they haven't accepted any of the proposals given as yet. So, to your right hand side, we have the Ramada Inn, which was built back in the 1980s. Ramada is a huge franchise in the US. When they came here, they came with the idea that they were going to build a whole chain of hotels. Unfortunately, the country is very small. It's about 8,867 square miles, more or less the size of the state of Massachusetts. And they couldn't build a whole hotel because the population was very small small population too. So they built one hotel in the entire country, which is this one in Belize. Also in the year 2000, we have the Princess Casino joining ventures with the Ramada. It's a 5-star entity that has swimming pool, spa, conference room, restaurants, theaters, only theaters in the country. Also there's a bowling alley in there, the only bowling alley in Belize City. Now to your right hand side, we have the BTL Park or the Lindsberg Landing. Charles Lindbergh landed the Spirit of St. Louis on this strip of land, which today covers the Marina Towers, the park, and the Ramada. Now, Charles Lindbergh was establishing a mail route from North America through Central America all the way to South America. So, on the 31st of December 1927, Charles Lindbergh landed the Spirit of St. Louis right here on this strip of ground, stopped in the country for 2 hours. He was greeted by the U.S. ambassador in British Honduras. Later on, he continued his flight through Central America, and on the return trip to the U.S., the Spirit of St. Louis was repaired, cleaned up, and put on exhibit at the Smithsonian Institute. Now, to your left-hand side, if you notice the buildings, they almost look alike. The one on the blue, this cream-colored one that has premium wines, and there's a few at the back end behind it. You can see them there. They all look alike buildings. At this area, we had the 2nd West Indian Regiment, and this was the military quarters, the officers' quarters. So at that time, back in the 1850s, King George VI used to call his men, the military men, or the officers, he used to call them the King's Men. That's the name for the area, the King's Park area. Now, this area is a beautiful part of Belize. Now, to your right-hand side, we have the fisheries and the coastal zone multi-complex. The coastal zone management team is in there. They are the ones that make sure that the islands, they take care of the mangrove on these islands. Some of them are popular, like La Isla Bonita. Have you heard that song from Madonna? San Pedro and Burgess Key is one of the popular islands in Belize, and Madonna has an apartment complex there as well. St. George's Key, Key Corker, Half Moon Key. We have St. George's Key on all these islands that are populated, very, very popular with tourism. Now, some of them are abandoned, like these ones, they don't have anyone living in them. So you will have probably a fishing camp where fishermen will come in, live there for a week or two, but while they're during the day, they're fishing around it. Now, if you notice one on the right hand side, that is Moho Key. You can see a building there, one building in that entire island. It's about 1 acre size, and that was during the 100 years ago. In this area, we had the yellow fever and the Spanish flu passing through. So recently, we've had COVID-19. So at that time, during the pandemic of the Spanish flu and the yellow fever, that was the quarantine post, where once you got sick in the city, they will transport you there, medicate you. A lot of them returned back to mainland Belize again after their medications and so on. But those that didn't make it through, they died or passed away through the process. The bodies were cremated, not to discriminate against them, but mainly to contain the spread of the disease through the entire country. So that was the quarantine post, and recently, they almost declared it open again because of COVID-19. But the world was very quick in responding and making a vaccine, which today in Belize, about 75% of the population has been vaccinated against COVID-19. Also, those that are working in the tourism, we have gotten what you call the booster shots as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to your left-hand side is the national telephone company known as Digi1. Also to your right, we have the Marion Jones Sports Complex. Marion Jones is a track and field athlete that won 5 gold medals during the Olympiad of 2000 in Sydney, Australia. During her victory lap around the stadium, she ran with the Belizean and the American flag on her shoulders, and they say that her parents are from Belize. Now, unfortunately, when she returned back home, she was tested for doping and she tested positive, so she was stripped off her gold medals. But also, she spent some time in prison. But while that was happening in the US, right here in Belize, we honored her. We named a stadium in her honor. So that's the Marion Jones Sports Complex. There's track and field, also there's volleyball, football, basketball, all sports are played there. Now to your right hand side we have the St. John's College. It's established back in 1887, but at this level, at this college, it's managed by the Jesuit priests, and they have a high school level which is all boys, and there's a junior college level which you have boys and girls attending there. It's a very prestigious school because most ministers and prime ministers that are serving in government today have at one time attended the St. John's College, either at the high school level or the junior college level. Now also on the right hand side we have the University of the West Indies, the blue building, and beside it we have a government school which is known as the Edward P. York High School. Now you know at government schools they don't teach religion, but most of the schools in the country are managed by the churches. So beside the Edward P. York High School we have the Nazarene High School, the yellow building on the right. Also the green building on the right is the Nazarene Church, which is open for service on Sundays. Now ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a right turn on Coney Drive, which Coney Drive is the modern part of Belize City. Northern part of Belize, established in around the 1980s and thereabouts. We have some of the beautiful buildings, like one on the right hand side which is the Gordon House, and it's owned by an insurance company, so they have all the money to make it look beautiful, right? Gordon House on number 1 Coney Drive. Also on the right hand side we have the Whitfield Tower, where we have the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Center 21, United Airlines, Peak, Western Union. Also we have the Pan American Health Organization offices located in that area. Now in Belize we do not have Wendy's, McDonald's, Subways and so on. To your left hand side, this is our fast food centers. You can get a burger, a sandwich, a fried chicken, you can get there. Also on the right hand side we have this green building, and the orange building is where we get our fast food. Now every day we can get Dario's meat pies, sandwiches and so forth, no? You can get from there. But every day we get a fresh cooked meal, which is a rice and beans with a baked chicken or stewed chicken, with potato salad and all that.
You could tour all the a bit closer.
Now to your left hand side we have a blue building which is known as the Western Dairies Wholesale Depot. This is owned by the Mennonites in the country. They originally came from Louisiana, from Chihuahua, Mexico in 1958, and when they came to the country they struck a deal with the governor of the country. They said that they didn't want their kids to be conscripted into the military or the police force. Also they didn't want the government to interfere in the everyday runnings of their community, and they didn't want to pay social security. And then the government asked, and what will you do for the country? So they said that they will feed the country. So in 1958 that was a far-fetched idea, but today in 2023 75% of the items we consume on our tables is produced by the Mennonite community. That's the dairy products, the pasteurized milk, cheese, butter, ham, bacon, sausages, the different meats that we have, chickens, the poultries, and also the staple crops like corn, beans, rice. All that is produced by the Mennonites. Now the surplus production is sold to the Caribbean community. Some of the islands like Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Guadeloupe, all these islands, they will buy the surplus corn, beans and rice that we produce, also chickens and dairy products. Now ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Coney Drive, and I would ask you, can everybody eat bananas? Yes? Nobody allergic to it?
No.
No? Alright, well we're in for a treat. There's a little, what do you call, tropical fruit stand. I'm going to get some bananas, and then we continue with tour. Excuse me for a minute or two.
You know, missed out.
and gentlemen, the banana is a Cavendish variety which we produce for export to England. And when they're harvested, it's 75% full, it's green. So they're clean, sanitized, packaged, refrigerated containers, and off they go to England. When it gets to England, it's green. So there they will spray them with a little chemical and they all turn yellow all at the same time. But these ones, no. These ones are different. This one stays back for the local market, for the local consumption. So these ones haven't been sprayed with any chemical. They haven't been, these are almost full on the tree. So they are a little bit much more sweeter and intense flavor of banana. So taste them, tell me what you believe about them. Also, if you look to your left hand side, this is the only Wendy's fast food in the country. The only Wendy's. Not the franchise, right? It's owned by Taste This Banana. You will never want to eat a Chiquita banana back home.
No.
You remember the Belizean banana. Okay, on the right hand side we have another tropical fruit stand.
Oh, wow.
You can see mangoes. Mangoes in season today. And we, in the country, we have something like 15 varieties of mango.
Wow,
Now,
look
ladies
good.
and gentlemen, we took a right turn on the Northern Highway. The Northern Highway was originally built back in 1927. It was a one-lane highway, but through the years, the government has seen the need to expand from 1 lane to 2 to 4 lanes. This portion of the highway has 6 lanes. 6 lanes.
Cooking.
Also, too, we have the rum factory, which will be returning. Those that are doing the beach, you'll be doing it in the afternoon after you return from the beach. Those that are with me for doing the city tour, we're going to return after the beach. We're going to drop off our friends at the beach, and then we'll return back, do the rum factory and the rest of the city, and back into port. All right?
Okay.
You guys good? All
Yes,
right.
sir. Thank you.
Is the temperature okay, or? It's good? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the cream-colored building to your right-hand side is the Catholic Church. It's known as the Divine Mercy Church. At one time, the Catholic religion was the dominant religion in the country. That's back in the colonial times. Now, through the years, people has fallen through, got disgruntled with the religion, they join other ones, and so on. But today, the Catholic religion is still the biggest religion in the country. It holds about 50% of the population. The other 30% are by the Protestants and Anglicans, and we have another 20% which we have the Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, we have Muslims, also Hindus in the country. So those other religions will have the other 20% of the population. Now to your left hand side we have the national flag of the country of Belize, which is the red, blue and white flag. The red and the blue is the major colors of the 2 main political parties in the country, the red and the blue party. Also the white portion showcases 2 humans. One of them is of lighter skin than the other, and that was done intentionally by the government to remind us that in the country of Belize we have multi-ethnic groups. And today, at one time we could have safely said that in the north we would have the mestizo, the Latinos, people that look like me, and in Belize City we have the Creoles, we have the Mennonites in the center part of the country, the Mopan Mayas and the Yucatec Mayas. Now ladies and gentlemen, if you look up ahead we have a traffic light. I think it works the same as yours. Green is go, red is stop, and yellow is step on the gas because red light is coming. Isn't it the way it works? Back home? More or less, right? Okay, well, we have traffic lights. In the country we have 11 in the entire country. In Belize City we boast of having 5 of those 11. So, we're traveling on the Chetumal Boulevard and the Chetumal Bridge. If you look to your right hand side, you see a beautiful look of the pristine ecosystem of the river. There's no development there as yet. Now to your left, if you look to the left, you will see that there's development taking place. Now the riverside is being taken over. Everybody wants to have their power boats or their little skiffs near to their houses. So you'll have boat parking and all that there, right? Jet skis and all that. But that side here hasn't been developed as yet. If you notice, up ahead we have a beautiful building too. But to the right we have the mangrove ecosystem behind this big building. but it's already subdivided and is programmed to be developed into a housing site. Now, the building up ahead is the modern building, recently built in 2019, and this is the income tax building, we refer to it, or you would call it the IRS building, right? But this is where we come and pay our taxes. It's known as the Eleanor Hall building, where you pay taxes, all taxes you pay right here. So every year, in the month of April and May, we pay our taxes. So this building is very busy. But today, with COVID and all that, everything has been done electronically. So since COVID, the country hadn't wanted to go electronic on any of the developments and things like that, and the banks and so on. But since COVID, everything went electronic. Everything we do is online, either banking or either doing your income tax or trying to get your passport, whatever. Everything goes electronic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a roundabout which marks the beginning of the Western Highway. Also, it's known as the George Price Highway. Now, it's only about 2 miles from here to the beach. We're very close to it. And this area is more or less what you call the industrial zone of the city, where we have factories, we have agencies like Quant's Trading Center. There's their warehouses there. We have King's Motors. We have Fabrigas. Also, we have Stationery House. This is their main warehouses. And there's other businesses that are being developed at the moment. We have the Belize City recycle plant way in the background there. The trash is collected, sorted out into different plastics, metal, glass, and paper. Now, the paper is sent to Guatemala for recycling, and then in return we get toilet tissue, napkins, and all that. The iron or the metals are sent to Mexico, and later on we get different things with them, right? The plastics is sent, like the Coca-Cola bottles, plastic bottles. We grind them to pellets, and then they will be sent to the US. Later on we get them in nylon material, which is used for making umbrellas, of the building, and then the building starts going up. So if you look to your right, I think there's one that's already prepared for that purpose, for building. You'll see the caps, the concrete, see the concrete piling all the way to bedrock. A building's going to go up there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at Old Belize. Those that are only doing the city tour, if you want to join us, come and have a little look, get some pictures and things like that. I can stop in a little bit longer for you, and then we head back to the city. Now we are at Cucumba Beach, Old Belize. Now, Old Belize, they use them for refurbishing, repairing these catamarans. Also, they build them from scratch, all with aluminium and so on. This one here, that's painted red, blue, and white. This one right here by the pump. This is recently built here. It's built out of aluminium. And these will be the boats that will be transferring people from the big ships to mainland Belize. Especially when their sea is very choppy, lots of rain and so on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Old Belize. Old Belize, they have a lot of antiques in there. You can appreciate one here. On the right, it's a sugar mill. That one there on the bricks, it's a sugar mill.
The
restrooms are here. You have the restrooms, you have the gift shop. There's a bar, restaurant, and then around the entrance to the beach.
Okay. Hey, what y'all doing? No, 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 no. No, come on. Follow Trey. Let's go. Okay, hold up. You have to wait. Come on. Hello. I want to go see the beach. Huh? Who? The guy? Well, what? Oh, I see him. Oh, they gotta get the tickets.
That's babe. You looked inside them things? Huh, babe? You looked inside of them? It's so pretty inside them things.
There's the restroom, you have the gift shop, there's a bar, restaurant, and then around the entrance to the beach.
Restroom. Preston, where's Preston? He went already? Okay. Ooh. Okay. It's been that long. We're going to the other half of the city and then we done. The old Belize train ride. Let me go walk with my wife and kids. The kids are messing up. It's not really a beach, but it's more like a pool, huh? Where's our taxi man? Okay. Oh, he brought them to the entrance. Hello. Nope. That's the iguana.
You can get your pictures, you can get your selfies. This is the beach, right?
Nope, you can't go there, sister.
Beyond the gate you can go. take it? You want the whole family group?
Y'all wanna come in the picture? Okay, everybody look.
It's recording, right?
Yep.
Hello. So you can get
Thank you.
to get everybody in. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, where's your mom and your daddy?
But if you guys want to get a drink or something, you can do it at the bar.
Okay.
Head out to the city. If you want to. Also, there's a food stall.
Okay.
Gift.
Yes, sir.
What time is it?
11:33.
Alright, so we still have like a couple hours left. The cruise is leaving at 4:15.
Yep. You better believe it. Yeah.
I want to do that.
No, Pete.
A lot of antiques. We have some of the mills for grinding corn. Others, some of the cauldrons where they cook the kids. Just kidding. They cook chewing gum. They're raw chewing gum. And then it would be molded into the size of a brick. And it's sent to the regular chewing gum company.
Look on the inside of them things, babe. Like, look that one over there with all the cushions on it. Watch, they got like little plants and stuff. Like,
Okay, let me close your drink here. And look out the window because y'all
What's your
Factory.
favorite butter?
Also from there we're going to the city to continue the tour through the city and back to port.
Thank you.
look, leave her alone, Callie. We all hot. She's in the back seat. Nobody could see her.
Mama. Nana, Coke.
It's gonna be hard for you to drink it in here.
What is it?
His Coke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's it? Can I stop messing with me with a paper?
Autumn, leave him alone.
Put it in my hand in the window.
There's a canal here that goes into the mangrove ecosystem and it exits into the sea there.
Somebody. Vince bumps that.
Thank you. Okay, we're coming to the rum factory. Now to your left hand side we have the James Brody and Company Limited, established back in 1887. But this is the modern part of it. The original one is in the center of the colonial city, James Brody and Company Limited. Now to your right you have Benny's Home Center, which is similar to your Home Depot. You can drive in there and get all the construction material for your dream home. After you finish building it and you need to furnish it, you can get furnishings at Benny's as well. But if you are not getting what you want, there is an Ashley furniture store in Belize. So you can walk in there, get the furnishings you need for your house. Also includes kitchenware, refrigerator and all this, right? If you look up ahead, the building way up yonder, it says Mirab Ashley Furniture Store. Now ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the rum factory. It's just about a minute away. Now you might see some kids here who will be selling peanuts, fresh roasted peanuts or cashew seeds. And also too, what happens is the way the kids make money for their parents to put food on the table. Also too, the kids are on summer vacation at the moment, right? I think your kids are on vacation right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, same here in Belize. The kids are on vacation. Is everybody coming out?
Everybody's getting off at the rum tour?
No, they don't want?
No.
If you don't want, we can continue.
We can continue.
We can continue. Okay,
Thank
just
you.
give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Let me drop off this bag. Bananas here. For friends. The battlefield park, other historical sites that we have in the city. When we were once a colony, we had a lot of little uprising. You know, you have strikes, worker strikes and so on. So to the right hand side you have the Mirab Department Store and Ashley Furniture Store. It's building on the right. This is one of our utility companies. We produce about 75% of our energy is produced at hydroelectric plants, and also the other 25% we buy from Mexico. So when you travel the entire country in one given day, you never see these coal or diesel operated generators. We don't have those in country. That's why they say that Belize is an eco-friendly country. Now ladies and gentlemen, I think 50% of the price is income tax, or taxes that's been added on to the fuel.
Okay.
A form of how the government can tax the country. You buy the fuel. You know, everything revolves around fuel. The agriculture, fishing, boats, tourism, the industries, everything revolves around the fuel. No?
Yes.
Department. If I need my passport to get a new passport, I have to come here to this office to get my passport. But I do the application online. What you do here is only to pick up and sign for your passport. So too, we have expats from England, from Canada, from the US that live here in Belize. Every month they need to come and get their passport stamped. So they will go to the different immigration departments and they get their passports stamped. For every month that they're here. Now after 5 years, they can apply to be a citizen of the country. Now we have the Court Superstore on the right hand side, the yellow building. Now the Court Superstore, we have those in the Caribbean, and Belize is no exception. We have 6 of those in the country. 6 superstores. Also beginning of the Northern Highway. If you look to your left hand side, is the bust statue of the Right Honorable Philip Wilberforce Golds. He is one of our national heroes in the country, and during his tenure in government, he enacted laws that would be beneficial to people with special needs. He himself went blind at a very young age, and then also too, he started the family court. Sometimes when families broke apart, the kid stays in limbo. They don't know who will take care of them. But with the family court, now the family court dictates that the father must make sure that the kids, he maintains them, he gives money for them to grow food and so on. And that will happen until they are 18 years of age. Now, this is the Balkan Bridge we are passing on. The river below is known as the Hallover River or Hallover Creek, but it's deep enough like a river for a sailboat to come in to safe harbor. To your right hand side, we have the BWS, which is another utility company, which is the water services, Belize Water Services. They produce potable water for the entire country. Now they extract the water from the aquifers, from the wells, which the water then is filtered, then is chlorinated, and is pumped through the lines to the different communities. Now Belize town gets its water from about 25 miles out of the city. So this water will be filtered, chlorinated, and pumped to the city, and the water is safe enough for bathing, washing. You can drink it as well if you want, but the only thing that it tastes awful because it tastes like chlorine. But there are companies like the Coca-Cola the Coca-Cola company, which they have the Crystal Bottling Company, and they produce potable purified water. Now, if you notice to your right hand side, we have sidewalks. Right at the edge of the sidewalks, there are some holes. Now, those holes on the edges of the sidewalk is mainly to allow the rainwater to flow to the drainage system. Then from there, it flows on to the canal system, and from there to the river, and then it goes out to the sea. Now, at the canal system, there are trap gates that traps the silt and the garbage from allowing it to flow directly out to sea. Now we are on the Central American Boulevard, which joins the Northern Highway and the Western Highway. This is the beginning of the Western Highway that we're coming up to. Now the bus up ahead, it marks James Bus Line Service. This goes to the southernmost town of Belize, which is Punta Gorda, way down south between the borders of Guatemala and Honduras, the Roatan Islands. Were you at the Roatan Islands yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the beginning of the Western Highway is on the right hand side, the bus statue of the Right Honorable George Cale Price. And the monument to your left hand side is called the Visible Hand. You can see it's a metal hand that's holding a leaf, and the leaf represents Belize. It's the leaf of the mahogany tree, which is the national tree of the country. That was built for the 20th anniversary of the country of Belize. It's a donation by the Taiwanese government to the country of Belize. Now we are on Cemetery Road, which is part of the Western Highway.
Autumn.
Now in the country we have different religions, like I mentioned earlier. On the left hand side we have the Church of the Latter-day Saints, Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, or the Mormon Church is on the left. And we have one of those churches in every district. And the country is divided into 6 districts. Has a maximum population of about 500,000 people in the entire country. Belize City, which is the biggest municipality, has about 16,000 people living in the city. Now, also too, the country measures about 8,867 square miles. And from north to south, it measures 184 miles. From east to west, at its widest point, it measures 68 miles. Now also we have another church on the left hand side, which is known as the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses on the left. Also too, coming up on the right hand side, we have a painted mural that depicts the different ethnic groups in the country. We have the Mennonites, the Chinese, the Maya, the East Indian. Also you have the Yucatec Mayas and the Garifuna people. Also, we have the two fathers of the nation, George Kittle Price and Philip Golds. Also, to your left-hand side, we have the Constitution Park. Not that the Constitution of the country was written here, but rather it's a historical site where George Kittle Price used to meet with the people and try to motivate them to start advocating for independence from England. Now also, this is the Pongyard Bridge, where he put this podium right there where you see cheap books for sale between the two big rocks. He will put this podium and he will talk to the people and motivate them to start clamoring for independence. Now we went across the Pongyard Bridge. We are on Orange Street. Now Orange Street is part of the colonial city. If you notice, this was very wide and it starts to get narrow as we get into the colonial city. The streets start to get narrow. These are the streets that were built back in the 17th and 18th century in the city. Now to the right hand side we have the Salvation Army School on the right, the yellow building. Also at one time all the buildings here on the left and on the right, they were all built out of wood and they employed mahogany. Now today or through the years we have had hurricanes and fires in the city, and when they rebuilt they use what they call concrete. Now today we have created a concrete jungle in the city. There are still wooden buildings in the city which dates back to the early 1900s, late 18th century. We have East Canal. The canal system, it traverses the entire city from north to south. Also here, in this area, one of the oldest buildings built out of bricks, it's right here on the left. Oh my God, they removed that wood building that was here. On the left hand side, the brick building is built out of bricks that were brought in from England. They were brought in, this here was once a hotel built back in 1858. And then later on it was converted to a family home, and then today it's a clothing store. We are at the corner of Albert and Orange Street. Albert Street is named after Prince Albert, the husband of Queen Victoria. This is downtown Belize City. On the left hand side we have the Belize Bank. On the right we have the Heritage Bank. And also we have Hophius Ace Hardware Store. To your left we have Battlefield Park, and beyond it we have the Supreme Court, the building with the clock on the roof, and beside it we have the Colonial Administrative Building. Now we have James Brody and Company Limited on the left hand side. This is the original James Brody that was built out of bricks. Now we have a modern structure here, Downtown Plaza, recently built, and then in 2018 we have the Barry Store, which was built out of iron and glass. Now I drive through the city, you see people from different walks of life, different ethnic groups as well. We have some of our own tourists that come off the boat. You can see some of them walking here on Albert Street on the right hand side. Also you have Creoles, Mestizo, East Indians, Chinese, Lebanese, and we have the people that originally came from India. If you look, the gentleman sitting in there is originally from India. He's taking care of his clothing store. Now there are a few colonial buildings in this area which you can see on the left hand side. Some of the colonial buildings, some of them have been refurbished, others have been removed. They put modern structures in their place. Now to the left hand side we have Women and Family Support Department. It's a modern structure that took place of a old colonial building. Now to your left we have the Hindu temple, and across the street on the right hand side we have the Wesley Methodist Church. And the school across the street on the left. We have Equity House on the left hand side. This is owned by the former Prime Minister of the country of Belize, Dean Oliver Barrow. He's Shine Barrow's dad. You know Shine Barrow, the rapper? I think he was involved in a shooting in New York many years ago. Now to the left hand side we have the Anglican Cathedral College on the left and on the right. And also to your left hand side we have the St. John's Anglican Cathedral. The cornerstones of the building was laid back in 1812 and the construction went through the 1820s, and in 1826 it was consecrated the St. John's Anglican Cathedral. To your right hand side we have the Yabara Cemetery, which is once known as the Sailors Cemetery. Now there's another look of the St. John's Anglican Cathedral. Also you have seen the crowning of two Mosquito Indian kings. The Mosquito Indian or Mosquito Coast is south of Honduras and north of Nicaragua in the Black River area. Now this church service will be held here at this cathedral, and they walk across to this white building on the right, which is the governor's mansion, and there they will have the party, dancing and drinking and all that. Now the building, the governor's mansion, was built back in 1814. The first governor to live here was Governor George Artis. And later on, the last governor to live here in 1981 was Governor Hennessy. Just a few minutes before the strike of midnight on the 21st September 1981, he handed over the keys to the newly appointed Governor General, Dr. Dame Minita Gordon, one of our very own Belizean, who took over the command or representation of the Queen in Belize. Now to your right hand side we have the BTB, Belize Tourism Board. To the left a beautiful colonial mansion which is known as Governor General Ninita Gordon's residence. And beside it we have the Salvation Army headquarters, the cream colored building. Unfortunately about a month ago we had a fire in the city. One of the colonial buildings was burnt as well. You see the bricks for the foundation. To your right we have the Belize Tourism Board main offices, the cream colored building, and the other colonial buildings that have been refurbished, and at the moment they're being used as offices and other things here in the city. Now to your left hand side we have the Belize Tourism Police headquarters, which is also a colonial building that's refurbished by the government. We have Macmillan Brothers. Here we had the Jeep, Land Rover Jeep agency, and the green building on the left is Dr. Carl Hoister's residence. Now we're traveling on the in this area we have the white building on the left hand side is known as Digi1. At one time this was the national radio station known as Radio Belize. On the left, this white building. Now to your right we have the Colonial Administrative Building, which is being refurbished at the moment. You notice getting a fresh coat of paint. Also they installed the air conditioning and all that. During the time of the colony there was no air conditioning. What they did, they opened the windows and had ceiling fans, and that will keep the rooms cool. Now to your right we have the Supreme Court, a closer look at the Supreme Court, and the green building on the right hand side is known as the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, established in the 1850s. The building is built out of bricks. Now we have a modern structure on the right hand side, which is the City Hall. This is the City Hall, and at one time here, before the colonial times, we had a fish market. Now beside it we have the oldest bridge in the city, which is known as the Belize City Swing Bridge. It was originally built in 1814. It was a wooden structure, but in 1922 it was refurbished. They brought metal from Liverpool, England, and it was assembled on site by the Jefferson Construction Company. To your right hand side, we're coming back again to the canal system. If you look on the right, there's a trap gate that's lower down, especially when it's raining, so that the trap gate will keep back the garbage and the silt. The silt will be pumped out with trucks, and it's discarded outside of the city, and the garbage will be collected by the sanitation department, and then it will be recycled. If it's plastics, well, everything goes back to the plastic section where then it's recycled. And another part of the colonial city at the moment, if you notice, they are refurbishing some of these buildings. The government is giving soft loans to the owners of these buildings so that they can rebuild the structure, but making sure to keep the colonial architecture. The building on the right hand side, the one that's on the ground, the white, when it's white at one time, that was removed from the foundation by its foundation. It's blown off by Hurricane Lisa, and it fell flat on the ground. Okay, right here on the right hand side we have the Conchal Bay Fish Market, open air fish market. If you look on the right, you can see the fishermen there selling their produce to the local population. Sometimes the fishermen will bring in lobsters, conchs, shrimps, fish fillet, and they will sell all that to the local population. Also they bring in whole fish as well. Now we took a right turn on the Youth for the Future drive. And remember earlier I told you we have two main political parties, the red and the blue party. Now the red and white building on the right hand side is the headquarters of the United Democratic Party, also known as the Red Party. They are the opposition in government at the moment. The blue party is the reigning party in the country, and their headquarters is located on Queen Street. Now we're coming to another bridge which is known as the China Bridge, and the China Bridge was built back in the 1990s. It's a donation by the Chinese government to the country of Belize. Now there's a franchise on the left hand side that's owned by the Mennonites in the country, Chicken Express on the left. Chicken Express is owned by the Mennonites. They're producing all the poultry in the country of Belize. So what they do now is that they rear the chickens, but then what they do, they will come in and they will make rotisserie chickens, barbecue chicken, grilled chicken, and they will sell it to the local population. A quarter of a chicken or a whole chicken with a little bit of rice or flour tortillas or corn tortillas added on to it. Now we are on Northfront Street, and Northfront Street was built back in the 17th century. It joined Belize Town to the largest sawmill in the country, which was owned by Robert Sidney Turton. The pink building on the right hand side is the headquarters of the Northern Fishermen Cooperative Society Limited, and they are the ones that export about $38 million worth of marine produce in the form of lobster tails, conch, fish fillet, and shrimps, which is lobster, shrimps, conch, and fish fillet. Now when you go to Long John Silver's and you ask for a fish fingers, probably that fish fillet came from Belize. Now to your left hand side, we have the national tree of the country of Belize, which is the mahogany tree. This one was planted back in 1981 when we were getting our independence from England. To your right hand side, we have the headquarters of the Belize Estate and Produce Company Limited. This building was built back in the 18th century. And to your left hand side, we have the Holy Redeemer School, which is the first school that was established by the Sisters of Mercy in 1869. Now beside it, we have the Holy Redeemer Cathedral. This is the Catholic religion cathedral, and it was established back in 1858. Another view of the Belize City Swing Bridge on the right hand side. To your left hand side, we have the Paslow building, which today acts as the postal office or post offices. Beside it, we have the Biddle's Home, which was once used as the postal. If you're going to the islands and Keys, this is where you come and you get your boat to go to the different islands. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, George, and Belize Exclusive Tours, I hope you've enjoyed your tour, and I ask you to pass on a good message to your friends, family, and even your enemies. Tell them George is in Belize, ready to give them a good time in Belize City. Also, too, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to look around your seats, make sure you have your ship passes, your cameras, electronic gadgets,